I was living the American dream for 15 years with my wife Sarah and our 16-year-old daughter Amanda. My career as a financial advisor was thriving. Our home was beautiful and weekends were filled with family adventures. Then came that 2-month business trip to Seattle. When I returned, something felt off. The devastating truth emerged when I discovered Sarah was having an affair with Jack, my best friend of 20 years. The ultimate betrayal came when Amanda chose their side. I decided to rebuild my life from scratch. 6 months later, Jack abandoned them both, and now they want to come back. Before I share this painful journey, let me know where you are watching from and hit that subscribe button to follow my path to victory. The life I built with Sarah began in college, where we met during sophomore year. I still remember how her laughter filled the university coffee shop when I nervously spilled my drink trying to impress her with a magic trick. We married right after graduation, built careers together, and 7 months later welcomed Amanda, who became the center of our universe. I climbed the ladder at Riverside Financial Partners, while Sarah established herself as a marketing executive. We saved diligently, bought a beautiful colonial house in a great school district, and watched Amanda grow into a straight-A student and talented soccer player. Every milestone felt like validation of our choices and commitment to each other. Jack entered my life during high school, when he defended me from bullies on my first day as the new kid. That moment cemented a brotherhood that lasted through college career changes, his law school graduation, and countless life events. He stood beside me at my wedding, became Amanda's godfather, and never missed a holiday or birthday celebration at our home. Our families vacationed together annually, and we considered him part of our extended family. His legal expertise even helped us navigate buying our dream home. When Riverside Financial offered me the Seattle project, it represented the career advancement I had worked toward for years. Leading a team restructuring a major corporate acquisition would mean significant bonuses and potential partnership consideration. Sarah insisted I take the opportunity, despite the 2-month separation. The first 3 weeks went smoothly. We video called daily with Sarah and Amanda, eagerly sharing their day. I sent gifts from Seattle and planned weekend activities for when I returned. Around week 4, subtle changes appeared. Sarah started missing calls due to late meetings. Amanda seemed distracted during our conversations, often excusing herself early. Sarah mentioned Jack was helping around the house with some repairs I had postponed, which seemed innocent enough initially. Week 5 brought more concerning shifts. Sarah appeared increasingly distant during calls. Her responses became short, often claiming exhaustion. Amanda mentioned Jack had taken them to dinner several times and helped her with college application essays. One evening, Sarah answered my call wearing an expensive necklace I did not recognize. When questioned, she claimed it was a work anniversary gift from her team. My return flight was filled with anticipation and unease. Walking through our front door, I expected warm embraces, but received brief, awkward hugs instead. The house felt different somehow. New cushions on the couch, a bottle of unfamiliar cologne in the guest bathroom. My favorite coffee mug relegated to the back of the cabinet. That night, Sarah claimed exhaustion and slept in the guest room. Amanda barely acknowledged my homecoming gifts. When I suggested a family dinner to celebrate my return, both had existing plans. The following morning, I noticed Sarah guarding her phone, turning it face down whenever I entered the room. Text notifications would make her jump to check them immediately, always with a slight smile. Jack, who normally would have been first to welcome me home, was suddenly unavailable, claiming a heavy caseload at his law firm. His absence felt conspicuous after hearing how frequently he had visited during my time away. When I suggested inviting him for our traditional welcome-back barbecue, Sarah quickly discouraged it, saying he was too busy. The final red flag appeared when checking our joint account statements. Several unexplained charges appeared at upscale restaurants I had never visited, along with a jewelry store purchase dated during my absence. Something was very wrong in the home I thought was built on trust and love. The truth revealed itself 3 days after my return, when I woke at 2 in the morning to find Sarah's side of the bed empty. From the hallway, I heard her whispered conversation from our home office. Though she spoke quietly, her words cut through the silence with devastating clarity. "I miss you too, Jack. Yes, he suspects something, but we need to be patient. Just a few more weeks until everything is settled." A pause. I know. I love you too. This is real, not like what Bernard and I have. The floor seemed to drop from beneath me. I retreated silently to our bedroom, mind racing. The next morning, while Sarah showered, I did something I never imagined doing in 15 years of marriage. I checked her phone. The evidence was overwhelming. Hundreds of messages between her and Jack dating back to the second week of my Seattle trip. Intimate conversations, plans made, photos shared that seared into my memory. That evening I confronted Sarah with the evidence. Initially, she denied everything, but when I revealed I had seen her texts, her strategy changed immediately. What did you expect, Bernard? You were gone all the time, even before Seattle. Your career always came first. Jack was here. He listened. He cared. For 15 years I built everything around us. Our family, I countered, my voice breaking. You built everything around your ambitions. Sarah shot back. Jack and I connect on a level you and I never did. This is real love, Bernard. Something I never truly felt with you. The final blow came when she revealed her plan. Jack and I want to be together. I have already spoken with a divorce attorney. I want the house and primary custody of Amanda. I laughed bitterly. You cheat with my best friend and expect to take everything Amanda knows, Sarah replied coldly. She supports my decision. She wants to live with me and Jack. That revelation sent me reeling. My own daughter knew about the affair and kept it from me. I confronted Amanda that same night, hoping Sarah was manipulating me. But my daughter's words confirmed my worst fears. Mom deserves to be happy, Amanda stated, avoiding my eyes. You were always working. Even when you were physically here, your mind was at the office. Jack takes us places, helps with my homework, actually pays attention. I worked to give you opportunities, I explained desperately. Everything was for our family. No, Dad. Everything was for your career. Jack is more of a father figure than you ever were. Those words crushed whatever remained of my heart. My daughter, whom I had coached through soccer games despite exhausting work weeks, whose science projects I had helped with late into the night, whose college fund I had prioritized over my own retirement, saw me as absent and Jack as her father figure. The confrontation with Jack happened 2 days later at the Richmond, a bar we had frequented for years. I expected at least some remorse from a 20-year friendship, but found none. I never planned this, Bernie, he claimed, using my old nickname that now felt like mockery. It just happened. You can't control who you fall in love with. 20 years of friendship, and this is how you repay it. By sleeping with my wife while I am working to support my family, his expression hardened. Sarah was lonely long before Seattle. I was there picking up your slack for years. The soccer games you missed, the anniversaries you forgot. You practically pushed her into my arms. When I mentioned loyalty, Jack laughed. Loyalty. You were loyal to your job, not your family. Sarah and Amanda deserve someone present in their lives. As our conversation escalated, Jack revealed how calculated their betrayal had been. He had deliberately increased his presence in my home during my absence. The Seattle project he had encouraged me to take, despite knowing it could have been delegated. The late-night work emergencies he had called Sarah about that were merely excuses to talk. Amanda sees me as more of a father than you, he added smugly. She already calls me Dad when you're not around. I left that meeting, understanding that my best friend had systematically destroyed my family while I trusted him completely. 20 years of brotherhood dissolved in calculated betrayal. The weeks following these revelations became the darkest period of my life. I moved into a small apartment near my office, unable to stomach remaining in the house filled with memories of betrayal. Sleep evaded me. My performance at work declined sharply. Colleagues noticed my disheveled appearance and distracted manner but attributed it to post-project fatigue. The isolation cut deeper than I expected. Many of our mutual friends, hearing Jack's version, first distanced themselves. The narrative he constructed painted me as the cold, absent husband, and himself as the supportive friend who fell in love innocently. Few sought my perspective. Amanda refused my calls and texts. When I attempted to visit her at school events, she would walk away or pretend not to see me. Sarah filed for divorce within 2 weeks, demanding the house primary custody, half my retirement accounts, and substantial alimony, despite her own successful career. I discovered Jack had been advising her legally before any confrontation occurred. They had meticulously planned their strategy, consulting with 3 top divorce attorneys in our city, so I would be conflicted out from hiring them myself. Financial records revealed Sarah had been transferring small amounts from our joint account to a private one for months, accumulating a substantial sum. My initial response was self-destructive. I started drinking heavily alone in my apartment. Missed important meetings. Nearly lost a major client. One night, after finishing a bottle of whiskey, I found myself drafting a bitter email to our entire social circle, exposing their affair in explicit detail. Some guardian angel of good judgment prevented me from hitting send before passing out. The turning point came when my division director Thomas called me into his office. Instead of the performance warning I expected, he shared his own experience with divorce after his wife's affair. He connected me with his therapist and a support group for men experiencing similar situations. That intervention likely saved my career and possibly my life. Through therapy, I confronted painful realities about myself. While I never deserved betrayal, I acknowledged my workaholic tendencies had created distance in my marriage. I had prioritized providing financially over emotional presence at times. These realizations did not excuse Sarah and Jack's actions, but helped me understand contributing factors. The support group introduced me to men from various backgrounds, all navigating the aftermath of infidelity and divorce. Their stories provided perspective and practical advice for the legal battles ahead. One member, a family law judge himself, offered particularly valuable guidance that likely saved me hundreds of thousands in the settlement. I hired Patricia Reynolds, a divorce attorney known for her ruthless efficiency and ethical standards. With her guidance, I documented every financial irregularity Sarah had committed, including using our joint funds to purchase gifts for Jack. We discovered Jack had a history of relationships with married women, something that would damage his professional reputation if exposed. Parallel to these legal preparations, I focused on rebuilding myself. I returned to playing guitar, something I had abandoned after college. I trained for a marathon using early morning runs to clear my mind and reclaim physical strength. I started a private blog documenting my journey through betrayal toward healing, which eventually gained a following among divorced men seeking hope. Reconnections with old friends who had drifted during my marriage provided additional support. My college roommate Thomas flew across the country to spend a weekend helping me furnish my new apartment and introducing me to his social circle in the city. At work, I channeled my pain into performance, securing 2 major accounts that had previously seemed unattainable. My focus and determination, born from necessity, earned me recognition from senior leadership. 6 months after the separation, I was promoted to financial director, with a substantial salary increase and equity options. Throughout this period, I maintained child support payments above the required amount despite Amanda's rejection. I established a separate college fund in her name that Sarah could not access. Every week I sent Amanda messages expressing love and openness to reconnection whenever she felt ready, never pressuring or guilting her for her choice. Rather than fighting for the house, which held too many painful memories, I focused on securing my financial future and protecting what I could of my relationship with Amanda. This strategic approach, focused on the long term rather than immediate revenge, would prove wiser than I could have anticipated. 8 months into Sarah and Jack's relationship, cracks began appearing in their perfect love story. Through mutual friends, I learned Jack had begun staying late at the office frequently. Sarah, now living in our former home with Jack and Amanda, had grown increasingly suspicious of his behavior. The first direct contact came unexpectedly when Amanda texted me about her college applications. The message was practical, asking about financial arrangements, but represented the first time she had initiated communication in months. I responded with straightforward information without emotional pressure, though my heart raced seeing her name on my phone. 2 weeks later, my attorney forwarded an email from Sarah's lawyer requesting a modification to our temporary support arrangement. Sarah had been laid off during a corporate restructuring and needed additional funds. I could have fought this given the circumstances, but instead agreed to temporary additional support with education requirements attached. My counteroffer included funding for Sarah to complete professional certification that would enhance her employability. The real revelation came when my neighbor from our old neighborhood called. He had witnessed a heated argument between Sarah and Jack on their front lawn. Jack had been seen repeatedly with a young paralegal from his firm. When confronted, he had not denied the relationship but instead blamed Sarah for being controlling and paranoid just like Bernard. The parallels were ironic. The same man who had destroyed my marriage was now cheating on the woman he had claimed to truly love. The same patterns of late nights, guarded phone behavior, and emotional distance that I had experienced were now happening to Sarah. One rainy Tuesday evening, Amanda appeared at my apartment door unannounced. Soaking wet and tearful, she asked if she could come in. Over hot chocolate, she revealed the deteriorating situation at home. Jack had become cold and distant, with her no longer playing the role of dedicated father figure. The activities and attention that had won her loyalty had disappeared once I was out of the picture. He promised to help with my college essays, but now he's always too busy, she explained. Last week he told me to stop bothering him about it because he's not actually my father and has no obligation. Amanda also revealed financial troubles I had not been aware of. Despite the substantial settlement Sarah received and my consistent support payments, they were struggling. Jack had convinced Sarah to invest in a business venture with his brother that had failed spectacularly. The promised contributions to Amanda's college fund had never materialized. Mom cries a lot when she thinks I can't hear, Amanda admitted. Jack stays out most nights now. When they think him asleep, they argue about money and some woman named Melissa. I listened without judgment, offering comfort without criticism of her mother or Jack. Before leaving, Amanda hugged me for the first time since the separation and asked if we could meet regularly. That moment of reconnection felt like the first genuine healing in a year of pain. 3 weeks later, the situation imploded completely. Jack announced he was accepting a position at a law firm in Chicago. He would not be taking Sarah or Amanda with him. His new girlfriend, the paralegal Melissa, had already secured a transfer to the Chicago branch of their firm. Sarah called me directly for the first time, her voice breaking, as she explained their situation. Jack had moved out, taking most of their shared possessions. The investment losses, combined with her unemployment, had left her unable to maintain mortgage payments on our former home. Amanda was devastated by Jack's abandonment, experiencing anxiety that affected her schoolwork. I know I have no right to ask anything of you, Sarah said, but I don't know where to turn. The decision I faced was monumental. Part of me wanted to reject her completely, to let her experience the full consequences of her choices. That would have been the response many in my support group recommended. But another part recognized that my daughter's well-being remained tied to her mother's stability. After consulting with my therapist and closest friends, I made my decision. I would not resume my relationship with Sarah. That bridge was permanently burned. But I would help create stability for Amanda and facilitate her return to my life. The path forward would require careful boundaries and clear expectations. 1 year after discovering the affair, my life had transformed in ways I never could have predicted. The promotion I earned during my darkest days had evolved into a leadership position that allowed me to mentor younger financial advisors. My personal blog about healing after betrayal had grown into a small nonprofit supporting men through divorce and custody challenges. The small apartment that once felt like a symbol of loss now felt like a sanctuary of peace. New furniture, musical instruments, and a wall of books reflected the rediscovered passions that had sustained me through recovery. Weekend mornings spent hiking or playing basketball with friends from my support group had replaced the isolation of early grief. My relationship with Amanda had been carefully rebuilt through weekly dinners, honest conversations, and my consistent presence at her school events. The breakthrough came when she tearfully apologized for choosing Jack over me. I thought he really cared about us, she explained. He made big promises about paying for college, taking us on trips, being there for me. It was all lies to get Mom away from you. People who truly love you show it consistently over time, I told her. They don't need grand gestures or promises. They just show up day after day. Amanda moved into my spare bedroom 3 days a week, maintaining contact with Sarah but seeking the stability I could provide. Her college applications reflected her academic recovery after a difficult junior year, with acceptance letters from several universities offering the fresh start she needed. Sarah and I established a cordial co-parenting relationship focused exclusively on Amanda's welfare. The woman who had once been the center of my life became like a distant business partner with whom I shared a mutual interest. She found employment at a smaller marketing firm and moved into an affordable apartment near Amanda's school. The divorce was finalized with terms focusing on Amanda's security rather than punishing Sarah. Jack attempted contact once after his move to Chicago, sending a generic apology text that rang hollow after the destruction he had caused. I neither responded nor blocked the number, finding power in my indifference to someone who had once wielded such influence over my emotions. The most unexpected development came through a community service project organized by my company. While helping renovate a shelter for domestic violence survivors, I met Julia, the organization's development director. Our conversation about resilience and healing flowed naturally into coffee meetings, then dinners. Unlike the whirlwind romance Sarah described with Jack, our connection grew slowly through genuine friendship and shared values. After 6 months of dating, I introduced Julia to Amanda, who approved with characteristic teenage bluntness. She actually listens when you talk, Dad, and she laughs at your terrible jokes. Keep her. Looking back on the painful journey, I recognized that betrayal had ultimately freed me from a marriage that had lost its foundation long before Jack's interference. The process of rebuilding forced me to confront weaknesses, rediscover strengths, and create a life aligned with authentic values rather than external expectations. The old Bernard died the night he discovered his wife's affair. The man who emerged through grief and recovery was more compassionate, more present, and paradoxically more successful in all areas of life. The betrayal that once felt like an ending became the catalyst for a more authentic beginning. True healing came not from forgetting the pain, but from transforming it into wisdom. Not from vindictive triumph over those who hurt me, but from creating a life so fulfilling that the betrayal became merely one chapter in a much larger story. I learned that integrity is not tested when everything is going well, but in how we respond when everything falls apart. That forgiveness does not require reconciliation. That the love we extend to ourselves during our darkest moments becomes the foundation for every relationship that follows. Life will inevitably contain chapters of betrayal, disappointment, and loss. But these chapters need not define the entire story. We each hold the pen that writes what comes next. What chapter are you writing in your own story? Have you experienced betrayal that ultimately led to positive change in your life? Share your experiences in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more journeys of resilience and redemption. Thank you for walking this path with me today. And remember that your greatest comebacks often follow your deepest setbacks.